I grew up in Indiana, and when I was 17 I got my first car and started exploring. I lived somewhere pretty suburban, but if you drive an hour south you are in the middle of nowhere. Tons of cornfields and abandoned houses. My friend and I started driving out there a lot and started going to these abandoned houses and exploring them. My dad bought a camera for the family a bit earlier, so I would take that and shoot some photos of the houses. We got really good at finding them too. We looked out for the normal signs, broken mailboxes, long grass, heavy wear on the house, etc. But sometimes we were still worried about whether or not some of the places we went to were completely abandoned. The best houses don't look as obvious from the outside. Like, if a house looks like it's in decent condition, it's more likely to have stuff inside it. If it's super obvious, like all broken windows, missing a door, etc., kids probably already found it and spray painted it and broke shit. We were really respectful about it and wanted to explore places other people didn't, so we looked for more subtle places. I remember my friend and I were coming back from a concert in Indianapolis in the summer. We spent the night at my cousin's place in the city since the drive back is really long. We left during the day and started taking alternate routes back to try and find some cool places to explore. We were driving down this long dirt road, one of those that doesn't even have a name and is called like Country Road 3282 or whatever. After a while we see a long dirt driveway come out to the left, and in the distance we see this really broken house. We pulled into the driveway and drove down. It was probably a quarter-mile long. There was a big no trespassing sign, which usually means the place is definitely abandoned. I know that sounds stupid, but it was something that made us way more confident in a house. We park and walk up to it. The door was falling off and the windows were cracked. Inside the house, everything was thrown around. It had that normal musty abandoned house smell, but it smelled stronger. Like more rotten, kind of, and just really heavy. I don't know how to describe it, it was really weird. I figured since most of the shit in this house was thrown around and moldy and rotten, it was probably just that. There was this tiny room to the side, but it was completely dark, so we walked past it. We walk towards the stairs and start stepping over broken glass, like a lot of it. It's common to see broken glass on the ground, but a huge area was completely covered in it. It made loud cracks as we walked. I started feeling worried. We walked up the stairs, which were also covered in the glass. At the top there was a long hallway. 2 rooms were opened on the side, and at the end was a closed door. The 2 rooms were mostly empty. I saw a bunch of garbage in one room. Black hoses, mason jars, Coke bottles with tubing. We kept walking and went up to the door and opened it. Suddenly the smell hit us hard. It was this super strong chemical or rotting odor, and then we spot him. There was definitely a guy in the room. He was really frail, super gaunt. He had really baggy clothes on and sores all over his face. He was holding a rifle and staring right at us. I couldn't speak. I see some beakers, bottles and tubing on the table that looked like a really shitty science fair project. He lifts the gun up and we run out. We got out of the house, started the car and drove off. We called the police and it turns out he and a friend were squatting the place and running a meth lab. The police found the one guy upstairs and the other guy was in that really dark room downstairs. He heard our car come and he was just hiding in there and watching us. I have no clue why he didn't try to stop us. He was probably just tweaking out really hard. The broken glass was there to make a noise to alert them when someone else was inside. I feel so lucky to be alive and safe because they could have easily killed us and nobody would know where we were and they would have been safe. I haven't gone exploring abandoned houses since that.